Hello? Hello? There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Handcam painting stream with me, Altamir, a mind-controlling parasite VTuber. So, I got a little bit of feedback on the other guy that we did. We're going to be doing the second one in this series. I personally think that the face didn't come out so well, and we had it could have been a lot lighter, but the guy thought that the tentacles were cool, so we'll do those again. And then the armor looks better in photographs, so I'm fine with it with the retro. Okay. I was sitting here trying to remember which models we used, or which colors we used, but it's just gonna be guess and check all day. Let's try and get comfortable. We'll start with the armor, as it is the most inside kind of thing that we have to worry about. So it's been an interesting week, as in not interesting at all. Nothing really happened this week. Work's jerking me around with my hours, but that's about it. It's hard to stay motivated at work because, like, it's easy to fall into the trap of just getting it done and kind of zoning out, because there's no reason not to, right? Like, it's not a particularly mentally stimulating position, but it does pay the bills. Being a full-time streamer would be great, but I have only spent money here so far. I'm not even monetized yet. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be. Like, I've got the time for verification. They want you to do, there's like one of three things you can do to verify yourself. One of them is like show your ID. You can the one that I did was just have a certain number of hours of content up, and it's not that hard to do. But you can't just pump and dump on YouTube, I guess. I mean, you can, but you got to be a little bit thoughtful about it. I got to do my favorite activity this week, which was wondering when packages are going to arrive. I mean, I've been doing a little bit of that because the other week it was the air cooler, or the all-in-one cooler, but not really much else going on over here. Just having fun playing games, getting ignored by people, and just in general trying to go it alone. I would love to go with people, but people are hard to convince to talk back, as it turns out. Not everybody is like me and willing to talk to anybody who approaches me. As it turns out, I am young and naive in that aspect. I didn't get in on the ground floor of people when they were willing to just have DMs open and talk to others. And there's no easy way to get people to open up. Like, I would just love to tell people, yeah, like, I've been around forever. You know me. I'm not just some random stranger popping in, but if they're not going to read DMs and if they're not going to allow direct messages in general. Hello, I see you saw my message. How's it going? I was just complaining about people ignoring me on Twitter. Hey, this duder man. Well, you are one of the few, you and me both. The only DMs I really get, though, are... There's a thing that people do where they'll follow you randomly, and then if you follow them back, they'll hop into the DMs, and they'll start talking to you about whatever, and then they will ask about your model, if you have one, and if you say, no, I haven't bought one yet, then they will have a recommendation, miraculously. Who's ignoring me? So it is very hard to contact people that I... Like, not even big, like, thousands of subscribers, but people that I've watched before, who I actually, have spent time in their chat hanging out with them, who I think would be cool to hang out with or collaborate on a stream together with. And there's just not a lot of ways to get their attention if I don't want to scream, hey, you remember this account? Well, now this is my account. In a public forum. So it's difficult to get people's attention. But yeah, the only people who talk to me are people trying to recommend their own artists. So basically people cold calling to give them money. Right now, at least the DMs are still open if anybody wanted to talk, but very few do. And at this point, I'm starting to get more apprehensive when somebody does try and say something. Don't have business emails? Not that I've been able to find. There's a couple ways that I am hesitant to do because it would involve revealing myself to other people. Like, there's Discords and DMs I have with other people who are involved, but again, that would just be, hey, you remember this account? I'm trying to, do this. And then during some kind of casual conversation, or people just asking more experienced streamers what to do in a beginner's situations, I've kind of subtly asked what the best method of communication is, and they get a little bit wishy-washy and they don't have a good suggestion. It's like, oh great, thanks. I wanna play a game, and I know that you're cool, and I know that you think that I'm funny. I've been there the whole time. And since I don't really have a model as far as a moving one that could be used for like videos and promotional stuff, I haven't even considered doing anything like that. So in theory, yeah, I guess the people are right. I could make the channel go to the next level by just spending money buying a model, and then in a couple months when the artist is done with it, come back and do stuff, but it's like it doesn't feel necessary. But like I was saying, I guess I missed the ground floor where people, like the first couple fans, the day ones or whatever, that know this person and have contacted them, they get special passes for communication. So rip me for not finding them a year or two ago. There's only so much money you should throw at something. Lots of dollars doesn't mean success. Yeah, that's definitely true. Well, there is like an acknowledgement that a prettier model could get more people in, and looking at it. Like there's definitely a draw for that, but it's not an automatic success. It's not spend X dollars, become successful. But it does open certain doors, I suppose. And depending on how helpful the artist is, somebody was mentioning that their artist would assist in getting the channel monetized, and I don't know if that's a normal thing that I've just done or not done, didn't have done with me, or if they're just making shit up. It's very possible that they're just saying things. Why are you so noisy, Cat? She's out in the hallway, looking at a different door and yelling at it. It's not even the door to the room that I'm in, because that door is open. I think she just wants to lay on the bed. Yeah, and I'm not complaining that everything's not falling into my lap. I'm just frustrated when there's is some stuff that I want to do, but there's no way to go about accomplishing it. Least of all when I'm still not successful. It's a little catch-22. Like, I'm sure if I was bigger, if people have heard of me, it'd be easier to talk to people and become more networking. networking in a somewhat social platform. I'm aghast. So the other day, I had a stream where I picked up the saxophone for the first time and noodled around on it, played some scales for about an hour. And there was a stream about it, and then I privated the VOD. Because no real reason to keep that up. It is just some awful screeching and bad scales. So the only way that anybody would witness those is if they were there for the live stream. The challenge of starting from a new account, you can't use any of your connections. Yeah, that's true. But you can't have, 15 years of details made public just to have an easier start. Technically, you could, but like I could just name drop myself everywhere and see if that works, but bleh. I didn't even remember that you had played an instrument at all. So what I learned about it is that I can still kind of sight read as far as songs that I can recognize and like really simple stuff, but I don't remember a lot of the fingerings, and so just trying to play the notes that I can read was a little bit rough. Yeah, luckily I kept the sax. It's just been sitting in the corner, and a couple months ago I got it repaired. I went to a shop a couple cities over, and I was just like, hey, this other company, like years and years and years ago, said that it was busted and can't be fixed, or it would need too much to repair. Can you fix it? And they're like, oh yeah, I think we could do it. And so I don't know if the first company was just lazy or if they were trying to convince me to buy another one or sell them that one, but these guys fixed it up in like a week. I've been meaning to get back into it. I feel like it is a skill that not everybody has, and so it'd be worth it to be able to exercise that skill if I need to. So what, are you working from home today? Wish I could work from home, but I'm nowhere near that level of subscribers. So we got some base coating on these two colors. I think the next thing we're gonna do, it is gonna mix the purple. Gonna mix the purple with the blue to lighten it up a bit and see if that works better than just the purple on its own, which was way too dark last time. Need to go in around 12. That sucks. Apparently they're gonna try and hire at least one more. Who's this guy? Which guy? What do you see? Oh, just the model that I'm painting? So last time, it's in the other room, but we painted this another guy who's very similar to this. There's 3 of them, and they are like mind flayers with these like Dr. Octopus tentacles coming out of their backs. And I've had them for a while. I just haven't got around to painting them, obviously. So it's been on the to-do list, and that is what this series is all about, going through my backlog. It's definitely not the same as the dark. It's like a violet color. Might not be the biggest fan of that, but I guess we could change the color with inks and washes. I mean, it's definitely better. The other was too dark, too dark. I'm just not the biggest fan of mixing paints in general, just because if I have to go back and do it, and I have to remix that same paint, and I've forgotten the proportions that I did, it's rough. First LEGO stream inspired you to buy a LEGO set. Haven't had the time to put it together yet, but want to get a couple more. Yeah, the LEGO stream was fun. Just blasting through that thing. The first LEGO stream or the second LEGO stream? I don't think you were there for the second one. I actually asked several people if they wanted to show up for that one, but they didn't, so that's fine. We just got to build it all on our lonesome. Yeah, there's a special surprise at the end. And it turned out really, really cool. That one, the second one actually got one of the highest, as far as analytics, the highest like views that I've had on a Twitter post about a like starting soon tweet. So I was like, oh yeah, hell, people are gonna show up, or at least someone. Nah. And hey, maybe it is that I'm just not cut out for this kind of thing, but I'm still figuring it out at this point. One of the things is that I haven't really followed anybody at their very beginning. I've usually found people after they have some form of audience already. And so it's a lot easier for them to just have like a free-flowing chat and have a little bit of back and forth and some banter and dialogue. Just check it every once in a while and respond. Okay. I don't hate that. As far as the skin tone. Let's see. What do I do next? I guess next would be the purple wash onto the tentacles. But I would like to do more Lego streams. Was this purple or flat? I think it was purple. Should have had the other one over here for double checking all this stuff, but he's all the way over there and I'm all the way over here. But one of the most challenging things as a streamer is to just be able to talk when there's nothing else going on, which is the muscle that I'm trying to exercise. Just be able to keep up a constant dialogue about anything and everything. The problem is I just don't do much with my life outside. I don't really go places all that often. So there's not a whole lot for me to talk about. I don't interact with all that many people. It's hard to just talk about myself. Not because I'm shy or anything, I just don't know what to talk about. The wash just fills in all of the recessed places and flows away from the raised edges, so it gets the especially on a piece like this, which has uneven pits and valleys and nonsense like that, can really give a illusion of depth. Because these things that kind of look like eyes or mouths or something, they can catch a lot of this ink. Pretty good afterwards. Need a list of prompts. Yeah. Just like, hey, Gemini or Grok or whatever, give me a list of things that people talk about when they have nothing else to talk about. Maybe I should become a reaction tuber. Have videos playing in the background and just react to them. Maybe that's where my true talent lies, watching YouTube videos. Like a little bit of dried schmutz all around here. My passion, sitting at home watching YouTube videos. Yeah, that's where it's at. I want to say I put pink into, or was it just more, it might have been more bone color, in the spots on the armor that look like the same. Small brush. Yeah, if I could make a living watching YouTube videos and just talking with people and hanging out, that would be #life goals. And with hand cams, just in case of a wardrobe malfunction, like I have to wear pants, but in theory, if you don't have such restrictions, you could conceivably just show up in whatever you want to wear. Or nothing at all. It's apparently a thing for some VTubers to not exactly be fully clothed from head to toe when it's just going to be the avatar that people are seeing. If you know what I mean. So after these legs, we'll give this a hot second to... I missed it. We'll give it a second to dry before we add the wash to it, because we wouldn't want the wash mixing with the paint. While we're doing that, what else do we want to do? We'll draw the black lines. Because the armor has a bunch of black lines crisscrossing around. And I know that those don't show up as good on camera, but it is one of the time-killing processes that you don't realize how much dividends you're paying on it with your time until you don't do it one time. Get a smaller brush. I thought about having sushi the other day, but I keep such weird hours that every time that I was like, I should see if the sushi's still open, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning. It's like, no, they're not. And it's not like I can just make sushi at home. I would assume that it is just much more expensive to have all the tools and sundriments rather than just go out and get sushi. Speaking of passions, cooking is alright, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I like eating different stuff, but making it is... A lot of times I'm just too lazy to buy all the ingredients ahead of time. So even if I see a recipe that I like or share one or get shared one, most of the time it just kind of sits there. No, that's the rub. I did not, in fact, get sushi. It was too late. By the time that I realized and had decided on, yes, there will be sushi today, sushi was closed. But normally, what I get is like a California roll, which is... it's got like avocado and faux crab and rice wrapped up. And then the other one's just kind of a wild card for whatever I'm feeling that day. I do like different types of salmon. I've had spicy salmon before. That's not my favorite. But just a regular, like Alaskan salmon or whatever salmon. That's pretty good. The place that was right next to my old work, when I worked in that store, there was that's the stall, the building that I worked in, like the face that I worked in. Then there was, I think, a dentist or something, and then right next to that was a sushi place, and they made my favorite California rolls that I've never had anybody get close to before. And they're still around, but I don't go off that in that direction very often anymore, so I rarely ever get to eat it. But there was a while where I was eating that at least once a week when I worked over there. That was the life. Spending all of your extra time and money on sushi. Is sushi the new avocado toast? Is that why our generation has no money? If we didn't spend all of our money on avocado toast, maybe we could afford a house. Except maybe now it's sushi. And practice gives you a food ice. The food ick after 3 or 4 bites. Is that a textural thing for you, or just realizing what you're eating and that you're eating raw fish? So you never own property? Yeah. Listen, the secret to being able to afford your own home is generational wealth. But saying that gets people upset because, oh, but I was born this way. Well, do better. The texture. Yeah, I could see it. It took me a couple months to get used to it, but the sheer convenience and everybody else around me liking sushi brought me around to it. Whenever we used to go there at first, before I was really in my exploratory phase of trying everything, was I'd get the teriyaki chicken because it usually came with some rice and some like a side salad and some form of vegetable, usually some tempura, so like a fried something or other. And then, the beef or chicken or whatever teriyaki thing you had gotten was really good. wonder if there's like a beginner level sushi for people who aren't used to it yet. That would make sense to me. We're going to go back over those parts that we'd done previously, a little more detail-y oriented splotches of light that we'd gotten. Just going to hit them with the purple wash to alien color it out. See if I miss a spot. And then that will definitely mix with the other washes if we just go straight to them. So what we're going to do is... Oh, I missed a spot with the black. What we're going to do after this is go and hit the suckers on the tentacles or whatever those openings are with the wash first to give the body a chance to dry. We'll also accent those things. I think there is one that is rice, cucumber, and cream cheese. I've had ones that have cream cheese on it before. I don't know. It's maybe I'm used to regular sushi, but the cream cheese just has this, well, cream cheesy flavor, like this dairy kind of thing that I don't expect in sushi at this point. And so, I don't know. That one in particular tastes weird to me. But I could definitely see it as a first kind of thing. So this will darken those areas. It might be a little bit too dark. Let's add a little bit water to water it down. There was one time that me and one of my friends went over to a sushi place that he had heard of, and we ended up staying there for the all-you-can-eat special. And it was relatively cheap, and as long as you could eat, like, I think 3 or 4, then you made your money back. Like, you were saving money. And so I remember desperately trying to finish my 4th one. And it's like, God, you don't realize how much rice you're eating until you're trying to eat your 4th sushi roll. And I don't think they gave you a specific time limit, but the waiter checks up on you enough to kind of pressure you into eating, if that makes sense. We've actually been to a couple buffets or all-you-can-eat places before, and he's a good person to go with because he can eat a lot, and depending on my mood, I can also put down a lot. And as I've grown older, I've become more of a human food dumpster. So whatever's put in front of me, I can usually tolerate enough to eat it. And so we make a pretty decent pair going out to places to eat. He was the guy that was here for the, I think the finale of Moons of Madness. He gave me some good recommendations for some short form horror games for Halloween. More like walking simulator, kind of story based instead of the worst kind of horror games are just the Five Nights at Freddy's style jump scare game where the only part of it is that it's a creepy room, and then if you fail at some task, some repetitive, idiotic task, then you get jump scared. That's not a horror game. I want to feel squeamish. I want to be tested in my beliefs on right and wrong. Real horror game, it's got to have body horror in it. It's got to have shock and value. Like, mouthwashing is a good example. That shit was pretty fucked up. Good thing is, I personally don't have any kind of shame like that. And so I'm not weirded out by the kind of body horror / implications on the characters' relationships. I just don't want to get in trouble with Papa YouTube. I'm such a small channel. The way that so it's become sort of a, like the quiet part out loud, where if you have any actual issues with YouTube that can't be solved immediately or via the automatic service thing, is that you have to go onto Twitter and get enough people to notice that something's fucked up, and YouTube has to respond to it so they don't look as bad, and they'll have somebody manually take a look at it. And let me tell you, I am not big enough to have a response if anything were to happen to the channel. Basically, I have to start over from scratch, and there's nothing else I can do. And the fun part, depending on how severe YouTube thinks everything was, some way, somehow, you might get kicked off the platform, and they can be like, oh no, you can't stream again because we'll think that you're trying to dodge the ban, which would make me poison, and any account that I have would be basically sent to the Shadow Realm. I could only watch and maybe comment. I've seen it happen. People get bonked all the time. I haven't watched mouthwashing yet. It's only 2 or 3 streams, I want to say. I think it's 2 hours and 3 hours for the VOD. And if it weren't like atmospheric, I would say go ahead and watch it at 2 times speed, but that might remove some of the tension. So that'll be your homework for the week. Go back and watch mouthwashing. I don't think there's anything icky that would scare you. Just a little bit of, what do you call it, gore. I don't think it's too bad. I mean, when I was a kid, I played Prototype, and that can get pretty gory for the PlayStation graphics. Yeah, it's like PlayStation 1 style graphics, which is neat. Alright, so we're going to take the armor wash. We're definitely going to water it down again, and then we're going to hit the whole red section. I forgot that we did that last time. But it is far too bright. Man, imagine trying to catch back up with Expedition 33 gameplay. You have trouble watching something as short as a, 4 to 6 hour playthrough. Now, I knew that that was not going to be a good game to stream this early on because longer playthroughs, nobody joins them, and they just lose numbers over time the longer and longer it goes. That was known to me, but I wanted to play it, and I wanted to play it. My only hope for it was to get caught while the game was still newish in the public eye. Because even beloved creators on their long series, where it's story-based, and if you don't know the story already, you probably should just keep up the entire time. If you accidentally miss one VOD, then, oh man, to watch this 2-hour video, you need to watch this other 2-hour video. And then it kind of snowballs over time. Just play games that you want to, otherwise it might make things feel like a chore. Well, that's why Magic Arena is still in the weekly docket, because nobody watches that. The only people who watch Magic Arena gameplay are people interested in Magic Arena, and those people already have a good number of people that play. That's my series. I just play that because that's fun to me. And last time that I played on stream, I had one of the best games that I'd ever played in my life. It was so good that I think I was only like an hour and 40 minutes into the stream, and I was planning on playing 2 hours, but it's like, there's no way I could top this. There's no way that I could play better than this. It will only be a disappointment if I keep playing for the day. I'm not disappointing anybody by stopping early and kicking them out, so just gonna stop. It was too good. Sometimes you just peak early. Another game that I would like to play would be Helldivers, but that game is a team-based game, and it wouldn't be as fun with randoms. And so that was the game that would have been great for me to get in contact with people about. To circle back to the beginning of the stream, I was low-key trying to get a Helldivers game with people that I know are already in the industry. Just small little creators. But, of course, a lot of people are hard to get a hold of. Helldivers the Funny Squad would be great. Yeah. You just need a couple people to be funny, and you only need it to be funny half the time. The rest of it is epic as hell. Now, I think that they're going to be, like, kind of pausing the story where it's at for a couple weeks, because there was, like, the new enemies that they just put out ended up being really unfun, and there were definitely some issues with them, and so they got removed back from the game, back out of it, and they are going to come back, but I can't imagine that if they were pushing them as part of the story, and then they stopped the enemies there, I don't think that they would just keep going with the story if those enemies weren't there. So there might be some time. Wouldn't be too far behind if it took a couple weeks to get a hold of somebody. I guess at this point what I can try and do is be on this account when I lurk in people's streams and chat as this account instead of another one. Just to kind of ease the communication. And then if I can become... I'm basically starting from scratch. If I could become a part of the community again, then I'll be able to establish the direct link. I mean, it's not even about optics or not wanting to feel like clout chasing. I just have an idea of who I'd want that idea to be with, and then there's no way to begin. Man, how come half the time I'm talking is just complaining about being alone? This goes for outside of streaming too. I feel like there's something to be explored there if I went to therapy. Maybe that's what I can do now that I am, you know, online. I've experienced this culture from this angle. Maybe I could go back to school, become a therapist, and specialize in therapy for YouTubers. I'm sure there's content to be made out of the mentally unstable adults that make their lives recording themselves and posting every facet of their being on the internet. Right? That's not a crazy idea. Big fan of therapy. I went for... how long did I go? Like 3 or 4 months? So obstinately I had gone because of anxiety. And so when that particular panic attack had kind of been worked through and we talked about it and I had more tools on how to deal with anxiety, and it put me on the track to being to getting medications to try and help. The way that it works with my hospital is that once you've... Okay, so the way that I went into the program was basically calling and, like, not self-admitting, because that sounds like I'm checking myself into the psych ward, but basically, like, going to them and saying, hey, yo, I've got this problem that I need to work out. They assign you somebody relatively quickly, and then you work through exactly that problem. And then once you've figured out that thing, you essentially get kicked back out. And if you want to work on something else in that way, you have to call them back and schedule for another specific thing and talk to somebody and get the referral and all that nonsense. And you can ask for the same person back to, if they worked for you, to try and get that stuff. But it's similar to the problem that I had the first time that I tried going to get mental health help, was that you're putting the onus back on me to reach out, which is something I've only ever done in the most dire of circumstances. So if it then suddenly becomes that's not too broken, so we'll go ahead and just let that run, and then everything else just goes undiagnosed. And then they give you some pills that will kill you if you drink alcohol with them. That is how it works for the referral at my work, since you have them in the house. Yeah. I didn't know how common it was, but it didn't feel like it was particularly unique. I just know that they got in trouble so the last time that I tried to go through, it was during COVID, and everybody was seeking mental health at that time. And so there was a million people in the system. The system basically broke. It didn't want to work correctly. There were too many patients and not enough people to handle the not even enough not enough therapists, but there wasn't enough system in place. And so essentially what they had to do was give you a list of people out of program that they had temporarily contracted with for only the emergency time during COVID. And we're like, yeah, so these people, we pay them and they will accept some referrals from us. We don't know how many people they accept because patient confidentiality, they don't report how many people they're seeing at that point. So here's a list of like 100 people. What you're going to do is you're going to start at the top of the list and call everybody on the way down. They're all going to tell you that they have no spots available. And then if you get to the end of this list, you call us back and we'll give you another list. And it's going to be the same thing. And it's like, neat. I came here for anxiety and a rejection sensitivity. So what you're saying is just get rejected hundreds of times until somebody wants to talk about it. And that's what happened the first time I tried to go in. That's the end of that story. Because I did not do that. This is going a lot faster than last time. So I want to do something with the eyes. The dude that I talked to said that it would be really cool if I could make the eyes glow. And so let's see. I need something bright. Something bright and creamy. Let's take this off-white. And a small brush. And see if we can just get right. Oh, I need a smaller brush. Luckily, I have one smaller brush. Take a look at this fucker. Look at this fucking thing. It's like sticking the tip into your nose hairs and just pulling out what you can. So it's too much paint even. Anyway, speaking of mental health, how are things with you? You having fun? Staying out of trouble? Getting in trouble? Look at this fucking thing. There's a creator, and that's one of the lead-ins that he does into a lot of his videos. He'll be like, want to see something cool? And then he'll start talking about something, and then when he reveals it, it's like, and this fucking thing. And I am relatively addicted to his videos. I watch all the shorts that come out. I didn't even get any paint on it. So carefully. I mean, I guess I should go back to therapy, but at this point, it's out of their hands. And so I would need to contact the hospital again which is not a thing that I ever enjoy doing. Call it being a man, call it whatever you want, but it's just, I don't know, man. Okay, so speed paint this fucking thing. What do I do now? I guess the only thing left to do is this and speed paint it again. Just means that I won't be able to do the same thing for 3 weeks straight. I'm gonna need to find something else to paint for next week if I do another hand cam. It's fine. Part of the reason it took me so long last time was because I was discovering stuff and testing out paints on the feet because I didn't want to test it on the face. Redoing some stuff, you know, I was experimenting. Took a while. And I should probably practice 3D sculpting again. I had that one stream about it, made one model, and then just the idea drifted off to the ether, got buried by Let's Plays. I don't know. We're having fun here. I'm just doing whatever I feel like at the time. Doing what I can with what I've got. I remember back in high school when we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, I thought that the Mindflayers were the coolest things, and they were, still kind of are, but I would always use them because I knew a lot of their lore and the deep stuff about them and stuff that most people didn't know, which was cool. And then I was like, there's going to be Mindflayers in Baldur's Gate. That's cool too. And then Baldur's Gate 3 became the biggest game of the year, and it featured them heavily as a main antagonist. And then everybody knows a whole lot about Mindflayers now, which makes it a lot less fun that I know a lot of stuff about Mindflayers, because people already know what I would say. It is what it is. I had tacos earlier and they are threatening revenge. Nothing to worry about now, but maybe in a couple hours I'm gonna just be hanging out for a while. in my room with a bathroom close at hand. It is incredible how many people brought into the lore. That was my first foray into D&D. Yes. I mean, they've done a lot with the current edition to try and get people in. Between that, there's a couple high-profile YouTube series to get a lot of people in. They've made the rules a lot more accessible, more or less. They've made them easier to read. Not that anybody actually reads the rules, but still. Yeah, like, this is kind of the one where they made D&D work, and the only people that it really upset were the grognards who don't want to update to a new edition, who don't like a bunch of new players hanging around. They might enjoy introducing one person that they personally know, but just being overwhelmed or flooded by new people to the hobby is not fun for them for some reason. That's another thing that I want to do. I would absolutely run a D&D game on this channel with other people, but there's nobody to do it with. The only person that I think would respond to my emails every time, my friend, the sushi one, because he does have a YouTube channel. Or no, he's on Twitch, never mind. So we could probably do it, but he is a more experienced DM than I am. And he doesn't like 5th edition because he's a fucking grognard. So the issue would be that he wouldn't want to play because of the system. And on top of that, I would need to get the whole rest of the group together. And we have once again circled back to the very beginning. Small creator trying to do small creator things, or specifically small creator trying to do medium creator things. Watching a lot of challenge runs on YouTube, like, can you beat the game with no AC? Can you beat the game with only mage hand? People are weird. People, what was the quote? If left to their own devices, the players will optimize all the fun out of a game. And so they have to, a lot of people will try and make their own fun by doing challenge modes like that. Which, you know, good on them, but you need, like, that's a perfect system mastery kind of thing. Where you know exactly what's going to happen when. And I don't necessarily have the patience for that. Not that I haven't replayed Act 1 6 or 7 times at this point. Never made it past Act 2. Guess the same with Pokemon Nuzlocke. Basically, there are certain games and certain mechanics that developers will put into games that really, really support or encourage multiple playthroughs. It's one of the reasons that I don't really like most what's it called? Not Metroidvania, roguelikes, because like they're almost always designed to have traps in them where something is very visibly bad, but it might be good in this one thing, or you don't realize it's not good until you take it, and then it's like, oh yeah, that was a really bad choice. You figure that out later. Or you need to abuse some system or mechanic that the developers decided is going to be special on this particular Tuesday. And if you don't know the mechanic, or if you're just starting out, then get destroyed, nerd. You didn't know that you were supposed to stack elemental resistances, where there was nothing telling you that there's a secret debuff after every chapter where you take an additional 10 to 20% damage from all elemental sources. Not until you're instantly dying whenever an enemy looks at you from across the screen, because they happen to know Chain Lightning. At which point your run ends and you just feel awful about it. And then you never play Path of Exile again. I think that Nuzlockes are right at the edge of it, because you could have just general good knowledge of Pokemon, not necessarily know every single secret and every single tactic of a particular game. You could just be pretty good at the game and play the game as best you can as a challenge run. I think that that's kind of cool. There's just every once in a while gonna be something that pops up and it's like, oh, it's just a random, specific set of Pokemon or moves that's just really tough to beat. And if you don't not necessarily a damage check, but something that might accidentally destroy your thing that you weren't prepared for, and then it's like, well, yeah, if I had known that that was coming up, then it's really easy to avoid, but here I am doing a blind run, getting destroyed by something that anybody who's played the game would recognize at first glance. Only game I try and make harder to play is Skyrim, do survival mode. For as many times as, or for as many different copies of Skyrim that I own, I've never actually played. It's kind of funny like that. I got a PC that could actually run it right around Fallout 4. And so I bought it just to play, and I played through Fallout 4, and I just never got around to Skyrim. Which is funny because I know a bunch of the memes and a lot of the references, but just never played. There's that game. There was like Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2. Those are some games that I wanted to play, but they're long, and I've already got one long playthrough right now, so I don't think I'm going to get to them anytime soon. Maybe I'll play the new Grand Theft Auto when it comes out. Try and get people interested then. I think that'll be a phenomenon big enough. Red Dead Redemption 2 is pretty good. That is what I keep hearing. I showed you that video of the game glitching out, right? Where there was like a cutscene, and in the middle of the cutscene, like a bobcat or something gets into the environment, and since it's a not a rendered cutscene, it's using the game engine, it just runs amok in the background. It's funny, because I know that I played through Grand Theft Auto 5 because I can specifically remember the choice at the end of the game, and going back and picking all three just to see what the different endings look like. but I don't remember most of the gameplay. For whatever reason, in my brain, it's just a big old blur. Never happened. But I did, in fact, beat the game and saw all the endings. Pre-rendered cutscenes are funny when it doesn't work out as it should. I've seen several because they do it in Halo as well. At least in Halo 5. And so people will, like, before pressing the button that will summon the boss or whatever, they'll, like, move all the barrels in the room or, like, set up a bunch of explosions right where they know that they spawn. And the boss will spawn in, exist for, like, 1 frame, and then they just start exploding and then just get launched out of the screen. But it's only after the cutscene, so there's this really dramatic cutscene with, like, Master Chief and some bad guy, like, making their big bad entrance, and then they, like, get into their battle stance. You can see the boxes underneath them. They start to move, and the camera starts to pan away, and then the FPS just chugs for a couple seconds. Played GTA 1 and 2 and Vice City, but then had a big gap in the Rockstar games. Yeah. I never beat Vice City, because that game came out a bajillion years ago. I think 5's the only one I ever actually beat, if I'm thinking about it. Did this take so long last time? I don't remember the tentacles taking this long. I feel like I've been on them for 20 minutes. I'm looking forward next week to the new Magic expansions coming out. Like I said, Magic's kind of my game, and new sets coming out, so there's got to be something good in it. It's not like I've been avoiding spoilers, I just haven't been impressed by it all that much. There's a couple things that I'm interested in, but the set as a whole doesn't have anything that's particularly necessary. I was thinking about it when I went over to visit earlier in the year and brought over the Magic decks to teach you. I don't think you realized what Magic cards were or how complex the game was. I got the impression that you thought that it was something like a version of poker or some trading card game, or not even a trading card game, but just a regular playing card game variant. And it also didn't help that we tried teaching you the first day that I was there, jet lagged to all hell, couldn't think straight, just like and then it was very complex. It is the oldest trading card game. Not even the oldest trading card game still in circulation. It kind of started the trend. Everything that came after only exists because Magic came first. And it has not stopped in the last 30 years. And in the recent years, they've just been like shooting out more and more cards per year. So it is just... there's a lot going on. I think the basics are relatively easy, but the complexity ramps up pretty quickly. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't help that it's the format that everybody's playing now is 4-player free-for-all. So it might be a little bit hard to teach with just 2 people. Well, someday. Someday I'll be able to teach you. Just need some practice. Yeah. There's always there's always the video game. The video game is a pretty faithful recreation, all things considered. Alright, so we just need to get... I guess this one doesn't have an area on the chest that I need to hit. So... just go back over with the black. Yeah, it's getting kind of warm in this room. Oops. I look away for half a second and then drop my model into the painting tray. Brilliant. But I got the door open and I got a fan blowing at my back, but it got relatively warm in the afternoon. It's not even that warm right now. The PC just puts out a bunch of hot air. I don't remember. Did I tell you that I had to replace the water cooler in my PC this last week? Yeah. It's not the simplest fix imaginable, but it's also not brain surgery. So you need to take the giant set of fans that exists on the top of my tower. It's connected to the housing on top of the CPU. So you unscrew both of those and pull it off. Then you hit the top of the CPU with some thermal paste so that it makes better contact with the housing. And then you screw in the new fans up on top and attach the new housing on top of the CPU, and then plug everything back in where it needs to go. So it takes, you know, an amount of time. And I've done it before, so it wasn't the biggest problem. I knew that I could do it. But obviously you don't want to, and considering the fact that this particular all-in-one unit that came with the PC, I only got a year ago. They are supposed to last maybe 2 to 5 years at the minimum. It just decided to be shitty. It was bad manufacturing. So that's why I would replace the entire thing rather than just trying to fix one fan. And then when I booted up for the first time, before I figured out what I needed to set up, it would go to maximum fan every time. Like, it would burst out all 3,000 of the RPMs available and just go off like a jet engine on the top of the computer. And it's like, wow, this is really loud! I can't hear myself think! And then I realized, oh no, it's just like blasting because I don't even know why. So I had to go into the BIOS and set it so that it would read the temperature and react to that temperature instead of just full sending it as soon as it boots up. So that was fun. But it's a cooler that is relatively good, but it is not necessarily incredibly quiet. That makes sense? So he's a little louder than the previous one. The other day I saw a comment thread about things women find attractive, and one of them was like, oh yeah, reading is attractive. It's like, okay, first off, I don't think so. Second off, how do you show off that skill? That's something that you discover about something. That's not something that you use to attract another person, because you're either pretentiously reading somewhere in the open and then using it to as like a conversation starter or hoping to be noticed, or you talk about it and you tell people that you do reading. So either you show or you tell. And I'm not sure that telling people is all that much better. Maybe I just haven't seen any returns on it. Maybe it's because I haven't read so much as I used to. Performative male, yeah. That book in his pocket, he only uses it to attract women. I read that one of the reasons that guys are finding it so hard is that we basically accidentally created a culture where it's hard to approach women. And it's like, it was from a good place and the best of intentions, but a lot of guys, not every guy, are kind of more afraid to talk to women than ever before. And I don't think it's like me where it's a rejection sensitivity, but I think that it is somewhere along those lines. The problem is that it's essentially failing at evolution, because you're not... like, you're failing at whatever mating dance we've created in the modern era. Where before it was like, you know, you meet one of the 5 women of your age in the small town that you live in. You take her to the movies. You take her to the soda shop. She becomes your best gal. And then inevitably, in a year or two, you get married and start pumping out kids. Picket fence, 2.5 kids, the whole thing. But nowadays, it's like there's something different going on. That don't work no more. The fact that I never leave the house and that I am absolutely like, self-sabotaging myself with my lifestyle and hobbies, that's besides the point. It is a greater societal issue as well. All right. What's next? Women functionally don't meet men in the same way anymore. Yeah, it's fun because due to the rising cost of college and the scholarships that are exclusively for women and subsidies, there are more women going through college than there are men. That's just a documented fact. And then they're expecting either a 50-50 income or more likely to be taken care of, while also having a career that is becoming more and more equal. And so we're trying to push both equality and also not like supporting both sides equally. And so women look for something in a guy, and so many people just don't have it. Like they've exceeded expectations on your own. When you're not allowed to have a bank account as a woman, it makes sense that you need to tie yourself to a man. There you go. It was all the patriarchy the entire time that held society together. But eventually, you will have gate-kept girl boss and gaslit your way too far, too close to the sun. Will there be going back? Probably. Maybe not back to where we were, but something's got to change. Will it happen in my lifetime? Who knows? Will it benefit me? God, I hope so. Yeah, all I've got is a stable job, a winning personality, lots of hobbies, inheriting a bunch of places. Some would argue funny. I suppose I have no functional knowledge of a WLW, but it does not feel transactional. I mean, relationships are... People like to say that they're not supposed to be transactional. But I think it's some form of compromise, which is what you are supposed to call it. Like, some people do some things and other people do other things. You compromise on some stuff. Some people, somebody in the relationship is going to have to, like, take out the trash, for example, and you can either share that or one person does it however you want it to happen. A lot of times one person ends up paying the bills. But usually it's not all on one person. People can share a lot of responsibilities, but at this point, it's not really like it was where people would have the stay-at-home spouse usually the woman, and then the guy whose single income is able to support both of them and the kids. And that's a whole other economic can of beans. The cost of housing has increased. Wages are stagnating. When did this become political? We're headed towards a recession. The people in charge seem to be actively turning the wheel in the direction of chaos. Simple income isn't enough anymore. Single income. I misread that. Yes. Absolutely. Again, unless you can live somewhere for free. I mean, I know it's a problem over here, and I just assume that it's a problem over where you're at. All of these things with housing issues. Definitely. Yep. Everywhere got problems. A lot of them are the same problems, but everywhere's got problems. And as we're discovering, as we're somewhat intentionally dismantling certain aspects of the government, we're finding out that no, you can't just fix things by taking it apart and have somebody smarter go in there. There are larger systemic issues that require a lot of knowledge base from a lot of different angles, and your Monday night armchair suggestions are not going to fix the government if you just do something. Because if it's not knock-on effects, and one thing leading to another, it is the same people taking advantage of every system put in place, blocking the ones that don't benefit them. Or just, where's the money come from? That's why it's rough imagining having kids in this climate. The birth rate in first world countries are down because there's no stability. People aren't comfortable enough to, unless on accident, start making a family. Which, you know, if the only people reproducing are the ones stupid enough to reproduce right now, that's not good either. That is selectively breeding for unintelligence. What we need as a society, what we really need, is a fixed version of Tinder. One that isn't trying to make money off of people, but can actually match people that have similar likes, hobbies, and locations. Because dating is, on a scale of 1 to royalty amongst flatware, it is so fucking hard. The king of all sofas. That joke sounded better in my head, so just pretend like it was funny. Got left. I don't think I'm gonna poke all the black eye bits in this one. I think we're just gonna leave them alone and see if I prefer it that way. Thank you for your pity laugh. Oh boy, I can't wait to show this off to the people at my work. There's only one person who gives even half a shit. So I want to go and get the duder we did last time so I can do the same eye glow effect on him. One second. Actually, while we're in here, since we have this new and improved flesh color, I was about to say flavor, let's go ahead and hit him with it. Just redo my least favorite part of his scheme. Yeah, much better. I like that a lot more. There's a little bit too much moisture in it right now. The important thing, kids, is that you just need to not be afraid to just figure stuff out. Just do it. Almost got it. No, let's hit him with the yellow. Now let's fix what we messed up, because there's always something that we mess up. It seems to always be in the same place. Weird that. Truly an unfortunate circumstance. Alright. And then we just... we get a drink of water is what we do. Holy. Okay, just a little bit of yellow. Oh, I just realized that was painted with a different color. That wasn't the red. That was a flesh color. Whoops. Yeah, it'll differentiate the leader from the other guys, I suppose. It's also a little bit lighter. Did I use a different color for him? I think I used a different color for him. That's unfortunate. Well, we can do if we wanted to fix that, we could go in. We do a little bit of touch-up. Yeah, they're just going to look a little bit different. But that's just the risk you take when you don't do things in the same day, or even have the other guy for reference. What can you do? Alright, so with that being said, we'll hang out for just a little bit longer for the jollies. But I pretty much accomplished what I wanted to do today, and then some, so yeah. What are we going to do next week? Definitely arena, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe both. I could set a stream to be both, I guess. Let's see. So for work, when you're on that, yeah, why did I have an alarm set off for Thursday? I guess that's for this week and that's for next week? Okay, sure. Okay, so we could do late night on Wednesday. So I'll go and take pictures of these guys. And then I guess I don't really have much else to do, so I'm probably just gonna play games for a couple hours. She said be back in 10 minutes, and I'm not sure. Let's see. Can I do... I don't think I can do timestamps. Maybe if I'm not looking at mobile. No. I thought that there was a way to do... time. Timestamps, there we go. Well, today has been fun, but I think that it's time to say goodnight. Oops. I don't think I usually bother to clean up the stuff. Well, it's got some painting still. I don't think there's a lot I can do about that. Do I have any paintbrush washy stuff? Why not? Welcome back. I was just about to end. So we finished up pretty much everything that we wanted to do today. And so been streaming for about 2 hours, which is about the average length. So it was nice talking to you. Thank you for coming. I think next Wednesday for me will be the next time available that I could do a late stream like this. So if you wanted to come to that one, I could let you know. Could hang out again. Do you have a preference on what kind of stream you want to watch or listen to in the background? More gaming, more painting, more Lego. I don't think I have any Lego, so I need to buy some, but that's also an option. Yeah, my Wednesday, not yours. I think it's your Thursday morning. gaming. Okie dokie. Anything in particular? I'm taking requests. What shall we game? Got any scary games? Haven't really checked. Let's see. I were to search by genre, action, adventure, casual, indie, messy, multiplayer, racing, RPG, simulation, sports, strategy. No. Store tags. Let's have horror. Psychological horror. Sure. We got Amnesia: The Dark Descent. We got Beyond Blue. Didn't think about that. We got Class of 09. Content warning. That's multiplayer. Getting Over It. Makes sense. Don't think I'm going to play it. Moods of Madness, which we have finished. I could probably uninstall that, actually. Mouthwashing, we've already done it. Amori. Soba. Some of these don't look like they should have the psychological horror tag. I'm going to be honest. Just regular horror. Let's see. Alice Madness Returns. I've got why is Deep Rock Galactic on here? Okay. Surprise you. I will take a look at the list of games that my friend sent me for October. We'll pick one of them and we'll make sure it's a short enough one to be able to do in maybe 1 or 2 streams. But yeah, we'll figure that out for next week. That's going to be it for me for today. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you are still watching. Other than that, I will see you next time. Have a good night or morning, depending on if you're somewhere very far away. Goodbye.